Hello friends, welcome back to our channel RK Data Labs. Thanks for watching my videos regularly, and today we are going to focus on one another video from AWS. Yes, AWS Glue, where we have seen like so far couple of videos, like couple of kind of transformations, creating data catalog tables and etc. And today similarly we are going to see one more important use case, like how do we transform our data once we source the data from S3 bucket. And finally what we are going to do, we are going to again store the data into a data catalog table and view the data using Athena. Here we go. Yes, so here we are going into the AWS Glue Studio, so where we can see visual ETL. Yes, so we want to select as usual S3 and then transform. So there is something called change schema, so where we can change the column name or data type or anything you can associate. Even if you want to drop the columns, let's say if you don't want to have few columns from your data set, you can still do from this transformation logic change schema. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to simply use this option change schema. All right, so once this is done, what we are going to do, we are going to verify our updated schema in Glue data catalog tables. That's very simple. So let me close this and click on this S3. Before moving on, let me check the name of the jobs. So dt, so let me put like dt transform similarly to our use case, and then go to job details. Of course we want to select the IAM role associated with this. I'm always using this test crawler IAM role since it is used by all the services, like let's say like common things like S3, lambda, step functions and everything. All right, then comes the number of workers. Always please ensure that you are requesting number of workers should be less when it comes to free tier edition, so that like you won't get much more priced. Cost is very important here, so that's why. Save the job, go back to visual, click on this, and then we may need to choose the valid bucket details. So I'm going to select the CSV test. So format, of course it is CSV. It has automatically selected it. Always, as I said, once you source your data set in this source layer, data source, you can obviously see the preview of the data which is going to run at the backend. That's it. So at the left side you can able to see all those things, right? And one more thing we will do is click on center graph, click back to transform change schema option, where you can able to see this option node parents. Of course we have only one node parent here, that's why it is listing as only one. And then at the bottom you can able to see like the original transform logic being listed out here, where what it is: source key, target key and data type. And as I said, we can drop the columns as well here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, simply there are a couple of things that I want to do here. I'm going to list it as key instead of id, and here instead of L name I'm going to put M name, middle name. Okay, and then so since it is id, what I'm going to do, I'll just put like int. So let me also test this data, how it is looking like. So let me go back here and select this data from S3 bucket just to preview. Like IDs, as you see here, even you can just mention it as integer. Even age also we can even mention it as integer. So what I'm going to transform here is both ID, age into integer. So now one more thing I have done, the target key ID is mapped to key now, and then L name is mapped to M name. Okay, so at the moment let's not do any kind of dropping alls, right? Okay, so fine. Then one more thing, let me show you. There is a table here, so let me save this, and then what we will do, we will try to add a transform again, one more target layer here using S3 bucket. Click on this. Once you do, you can just verify that node parent is selected as a change schema, the layer which we want to get the updated schema, right? And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to select one more CSV file here, right? Yes, so I'm going to select something called test labs data. Okay, we have few files here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the bucket name alone, choose it. Okay, then so we have a couple of options here, right? So one is nothing but, let's say like you don't want to update the data catalog table, since I will also show here. So if you go back to left side of the explorer, there is something called data catalog tables. and you can simply click on this table. Let's say this table is what we are going to associate with our use case. So we have all these column names and the data types already present, right? So now what we are going to do, if in case you don't want to update the catalog as is, right, you can still mention here do not update. And for option 2 and 3, what you can do, simply you can update the schema. Let's say if you click on this, right, it will try to create a table new, and then what it will do, it will try to update the schema and then add new partition if there is any partition key. Okay, so we are not going to concentrate on adding new partition. We are going to create a new table so that that table will have all the updated schema. Okay, or else if you have a if you have a table need to be created fresh, and then after first run, if you want to, you know, keep update the schema, and previously if you want to keep the same schema, let's say this third option is nothing but you want to keep the existing schema. Okay, but you want to update the schema in subsequent runs, you can choose this option 3. Or else if you want to simply create a table and in the first run itself you want to update the schema, you can choose option number 2. Okay, so option number 1 is no change in the data catalog, which means you will not see any update in the table at all. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to simply click on default. I'm going to create a new table, transform. All right, simply save this option. So now if you go back and see all these three layers, source to S3, which has one CSV file, and then we are going to transform layer where we have transformed that column name change, data type change, and then finally we are populating the data in CSV file, and also we are updating the glue data catalog table. All right, so our table name is DT transform and the default option. So now what I have selected is I'm going to create a new table. And if in case if you don't want to update the data catalog, you can just choose this first option. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to simply run this, and I'm going to view this in run detail page. So anytime you run the glue job, you can just simply go to this runs page and you can just verify if the job is completed or failed or it is still running. So let's wait for a minute so that it completes, so that we can verify the table detail in glue data catalog accordingly. Alright, so now if you've been able to see the status of the job, it is got completed. So now what we should be able to see is two things. One, let's verify in Glue data catalog tables whether the table has been created successfully. Yes, you can able to see this, and if you come down, you can able to see the updated column name from ID to key and L name to M name, and the associated data type from string to int for both columns key and age. And one more thing that we want to verify is we want to go back and see, like in one of the bucket where we have loaded the data. Yes, so we have got the this this is the output, right? So this is the output which got generated. Obviously if you go and see here, right, in visual we have selected the CSV. That's why we have selected, and by default it gives a snappy format even though we have not selected any compression type. That's why it has given the output, it has generated the output here in snappy format. So two things we have verified: we have got the generated output in snappy format in bucket, and as well as we have seen the updated data catalog table here in Glue Studio. So here we go. So that's it from this video. In my next video I will be covering one more use case from Glue, how to load JSON data into Redshift table. Stay tuned guys, thanks for watching this video.